Emmanuel Galindo.
Present, Judge.
Hello, Mr. Galindo.
Morning, Your Honor.
Morning. So, on this case, it's from 2016. So, am I the judge who heard his jury trial or no?
No, Judge. It was Judge Hildig at the time was the one who presided on the case.
So, have there been conditions given to him or no?
Judge, I'm looking at a court summary. I don't know if the court has it. I can.
No, I don't.
Okay.
Thank you.
I do believe that conditions were set at one point. At least I saw the conditions specifically to the other counts, but I don't know about as it relates to this specific count.
All right. And the location where he wants to reside is with his daughter?
The issue where he will backtrack a little bit, Judge. So the address where he's residing or would reside is where his sister lives.
Mhm.
His sister,
Niece.
I'm sorry, his niece. That address has been approved by parole. His niece does have my client's daughter residing there as well. And so the issue is that the address has been approved by parole. My client has been compliant with the requirements that he wear a monitor at all times. The issue is that probation, because of the SONU conditions, is not allowing him to reside in that address. And so if he moves out of that address somewhere else that's not approved by parole, then he's maybe violating parole conditions. And that's...
All right. So, we're in a little bit of a limbo. State, I'm assuming you're not approving.
Correct. Yes, we don't agree to them allow living with any minors.
All right. So, what I can tell you is I'm not even allowed to even consider this until the parties who are in the household are approved as chaperones by the sex offender unit. So I think that's what needs to happen first, because if that hasn't happened, the answer from the court is going to be no, because it has to be someone who's approved. So I understand that parole is saying that you're paroled to that location, but you're going to have to let parole know that you're on probation for this.
And there is an issue, Judge, like I brought it up with Mr. Cavani. It's like he wasn't granted more than 8 years on any of his 21 counts.
Mhm.
That was in 2017. So he shouldn't be even on parole, to be quite frank. Is 8 plus, my math is bad, but 8 plus 17 is 25. And so this year he should have been removed, but it's showing when I pulled this NCIC this morning that he's paroled until 27, which would have been 10 years, which without any other account.
And we discussed that, Judge, and I did see it on the judge, and I was talking to Mr. Villarreal about it. But it did seem a little bit strange.
I guess that's my concern, is that if parole does correct it, we shouldn't be really taking guidance from parole.
All right, let's do this.
That's stack 5, so that's why it's 10 years.
Okay.
I'm sorry, what?
My client was telling me that he has stacked 5-year sentences, Judge. That's why it's...
Oh, maybe he'll big stat.
I looked at all the judgments and kind of they're a wreck, and I don't see any. I didn't see any, and I could be wrong, of any that were to run consecutive.
All right, let's do this, because there's a lot of confusion over this. One, I'm not the judge who heard this. That would be that guy right there.
Yes, ma'am.
And I don't know if there have been any conditions set for you for probation. And according to the state, I don't even know if you should be on parole. And if you should not be on parole, then somebody needs to correct that.
So the judge ran the 8s and the 5 concurrent with the stacked 5. That's what happened. That's why I have a 10 maximum year of TDCJ. So I have 1 year left to serve on parole.
Well, what I can tell you this, if the judgment doesn't say that, then
Precisely.
Yeah.
Precisely.
So
yeah, what he said. So we need to figure out what's going on here. But what I can tell you, if I rule on this right now, it's going to be denied because there isn't even a chaperone that's approved. I don't know what's happening with your other cases, but what I can tell you is what's in the judgment is what counts.
Mhm.
It's not, just people thinking this is the way. Sometimes people make mistakes. I understand what you're saying, but I have to look at the judgment. Your attorney needs to look at the judgment, because if you should not be on parole, then it's probably best that you not be on parole. So we can recall this back for late January, or when would you like to recall it?
Well,
Or we can call it later.
Judge, my concern for my client is, where he'll reside until January. I understand that it's obviously become a financial issue for him. At the same time, he can't reside in that address because, of the minors who are there. But I don't know that. And then we have the issue with parole. And so my concern is, what can my client do to not disobey both parole conditions and these Bexar County probation conditions?
Well,
I'm looking at the compelling right now, and all it says is to run concurrent with several of the other counts.
then, if you all want, you can come back later this week if you think you'll figure something out.
Would probation be able to even approve this? I guess theoretically, if the court were to consider this, would probation be able to even make that assessment as it relates to it?
Does somebody want to call and see if they can do it quickly? I want to call probation and see if they can expedite it.
Sorry.
Chaperone. The problem is with the chaperone, they have classes. But if parole is asking for him to parole at that location, maybe parole has already done a chaperone.
Parole stated that I don't have any child restriction stipulations, ma'am.
Oh, so that answers that question. They didn't do a
Right.
chaperone. So, yeah. Oh, all right. Just have a seat. They're going to call
Thank you,
whoever they
Judge.
need to call. Thank you.
Former San Antonio police officers indicted for an alleged fake undercover operation. Prosecutors say Emmanuel Galindo and Alejandro Chapa tricked women into having sexual relations with them. And now, as Garrett Berger tells us, those two former officers face felony and misdemeanor charges.
Two former SAPD officers are going to wind up here in court facing multiple counts of sexual assault, compelling prostitution, and official oppression. And the DA's office tells us the investigation is ongoing.
Once they upheld the law, now Emmanuel Galindo and Alejandro Chapa will face it.
Our allegation is that they misused their authority and their position to set up a fake sting operation to coerce, basically fraudulently bring these women into this sexual escapade in this situation.
It started with a complaint to Live Oak Police in June. Lieutenant Matt Malone says a woman was told she could be part of an undercover investigation, but she had to go through a series of tests.
It involved everything from consuming alcohol to, asking them questions about, are you comfortable with holding my hand or kissing, or are you comfortable disrobing in front of men?
Also, sex. DA LaHood says 25 women were told the undercover operation story, though not all engaged in sexual contact.
How many women were actually taken advantage of in this case?
At least 5.
A third officer, Aaron Alford, was arrested with Galindo and Chapa in September, but prosecutors say he has not been charged. That doesn't mean he won't be.
We're still conducting an investigation internally.
The San Antonio Police Department says Galindo and Chapa resigned in November. Alford was placed on unpaid indefinite suspension in January. Garrett Berger, KSAT 12 News.
Now, we did reach out to the attorneys for Galindo and Chapa, but they did not call back before airtime.
Let's get the facts straight. She loves a verbal ashtray. Never blowing smoke when she gets pissed. She's quick to castrate. Love her on a good day, love her on a bad day. Either way, she's here to stay, stay, stay. Call up only Lucy. Only